Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go back at you with my boys Vladimir. What's good, fellas?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Excited as always to be here, ready for another great and exciting podcast. So we're on to episode 43, the Big 4-3.
Oh man, I forget we're already on episode 43. Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
Yes. Kendrick Perkins when he was on the Celtics.
Kendrick.
Kendrick
thinks he's like, Kendrick thinks he's like an all-time defender. You know
right. He's first team all defense. That's why he thinks, yeah.
Remember when he said, like, I seen Kobe in Vegas one time, and he told me, I was one of the best defenders he's ever played against. Like, man, shut up, dude.
Oh, man.
No, you
he was definitely gassed when he heard Kobe say that.
But if Kobe tells you that, you're going to take it, though.
Yeah.
That's true, right?
Listen,
right. Anybody's going to be gassed if Kobe says that to you.
Kobe probably said, in that series, you was a really great defender. But he said, you're one of the best defenders I've ever played against. Like, come on, man,
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Funny.
I quite believe that, too, that, he said it, that, he's one of the best defenders he ever played against. But I'm sure in that series, because he's played against a lot of really good defenders and defenders that are much better than Perkins. Perkins was a good defender, but I mean, Kobe's gone against quite a few guys that are what I would consider much better than Perkins. Still
love Perk, though.
Oh, yeah, me too. Definitely love Perk. Love him as an analyst, too. He's hilarious.
He's funny. He's funny.
Oh, yeah, right. When he's on First Take and then on the Celtics pregame and postgame show, the dude has jokes, yeah.
Anyway, man, it's episode 43. Anybody else you got, Barry? Any other 43s?
So we got, let's see, Nate Ebner.
Why would you even, remember Nate Ebner's number?
He not only was, obviously, he played for the Pats, but he played was rugby and was believe on the USA rugby team and stuff. So that's how I ended up. Oh, I can't believe I just remembered this and didn't say this before Nate Ebner. Troy Polamalu.
Yeah,
that's more like it, right?
Yeah, that's more
much
like
better, much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now he's doing Heads and Shoulders commercials. That's cool. But
still getting them bags. Good for him.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and make sure you're watching these videos every week. If you're on social media, we're on Instagram, profans_sports. We're on twitter.com/profansports, facebook.com/profansports. And if you like to watch, again, subscribe to the YouTube. It's youtube.com/profansports. Our episodes drop every Tuesday on Spotify, all the major podcast platforms, and then the videos drop on every Wednesday. So be sure to look out. As always, we're going to be talking about the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NHL, Be Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, maybe some soccer, maybe we got some questions of the week. So let's get to it, man. Some NFL and Patriots news. So we lost a personnel person to the Houston Texans again.
Yep, another one, as Khaled would say.
Another one, yeah. So Nick Caserio, he became the new GM of the Houston Texans.
Yes, sir.
And if you guys remember, there was like a whole, like the rumor mill going on a couple of years ago that, they wanted to take him and the Patriots blocked that. You guys
Yeah.
remember that? That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
being reported all over the place.
Yeah, they've actually blocked that for a couple years now.
Mhm.
So surprising, that wasn't only just that time. It's been at least 2 or 3 times where they've denied, permission for the, Texans to interview him for the GM job. So, but I guess, you could only do that so much. So, I guess it was time for him to finally, either to get a GM job and go his own separate ways from the Pats.
Yeah, and apparently, Deshaun Watson's not very happy about the hiring. So now, the rumor is that he would be willing to waive his no trade clause to be traded to Miami, make a swap with Tua for him to Miami. I mean, it's a rumor. We don't know how true that is, but that's pretty interesting, right?
That would shake the league for sure.
Yeah, I know that is, appalling to say the least. I was pretty appalled and stunned by that when I first heard about that rumor on NFL Countdown this morning. Chris Mortensen had reported that, and yeah, I was definitely blown away. I'm hoping that doesn't happen because, especially as a Pats fan, I wouldn't want to see the Patriots play Deshaun Watson 2 times a year. That definitely wouldn't be, too fun having to go against him twice a year. So, hopefully that doesn't, that trade doesn't end up happening. But, we'll see what happens, and, only time will tell. So,
I mean,
it's interesting how it would be for the Dolphins out of all teams that he would waive the no trade clause to. Maybe it's because they have a black head coach or something. Who knows what, would make him want to play for the Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins look good this year. If they had Deshaun Watson at quarterback, they would be in the playoffs right now.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no question. Absolutely.
So he can just look at the team and be like, they're just a quarterback away from being a contender. So let me join them. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the black coach has a lot to do with it as well.
Listen, man, Deshaun Watson lost all his receivers and still posted like the most yards
in the league.
Year.
Yes, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's because Dak Prescott, got injured, because he would have obliterated that right there. If he was going at the pace that he was going.
Yeah, he was throwing 400 yards a week.
Game, man. Like that was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so. He was on an absurd pace at the beginning of the year for sure. And but Deshaun Watson put some unbelievable and spectacular numbers up that and was impressive, like you said, doing it with the players that he did it with, because he had really no one around him, particularly when Will Fuller got suspended, and he was still able to ball up and put some big time numbers up. So he certainly was had a great season. And it was funny, I don't know if y'all saw that video of J.J. Watt apologizing to him at the end of the game last week, saying that he was sorry for wasting one of his years, and that they didn't make the playoffs, and that they only won 4 games, and that they should have won 11 games. So it's unfortunate to see a great talent like that not be more successful in terms of the team and win more games and get into the postseason. But I can understand his frustration though, as far as not the team not really interviewing the guys that he wants interviewed for the GM job and for the head coach. I know he wanted the Chiefs offensive coordinator interviewed for the head coaching job, and they didn't even bother interviewing him or any of the GMs that they recommended. So I definitely can see why he would be frustrated with the team and want out of there. I mean, I would want out too. Who really wants to play for the Houston Texans at this point? So
the Texans should have kept
DeAndre Hopkins.
No, Vrabel, and then fire
O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Yeah, right. No, that's true. That's a good point, Vlad.
I mean, when the rumor came out, I'm like, yo, Patriots better make a move. And then that other rumor came out. I'm like, damn, man, nobody wants to come in here, man.
For what? For what? It's the same. It's the same. It's the same situation he was in Houston. It's the same situation he's coming up here. A couple of weeks ago we had this. I don't want to stay on this conversation too long, but a couple of weeks ago we had this conversation about who's gonna want to come to New England with no receivers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
No, you're right.
That's true. The only way they come is if they want to get the bag. But we know Bill Belichick usually doesn't give quarterbacks the bag like that.
He don't give nobody the bag.
Yeah, but people used to come here for Tom Brady. There's
right. There's no Brady no more.
Yeah,
that's true. He ain't here, so there's no reason for them to come.
Maybe Bill thought they came here for him. Like,
nah, bro, it wasn't you, bro. You got that tweet. It was
partly. But more NFL news. The Browns coach, which was really surprising to me, Kevin Stefanski, he's going to be out for the game against the Steelers, so he's not even allowed to be in a press box or anything. So he's going to be at home in a basement.
He can't even coach from home. He can't even yeah.
I feel like I have a problem with that because you could accommodate, make sure the guy comes in safely, understand why this is an important game, Is it the Steelers city?
I don't know. I actually
they're playing, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, they're not playing.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like if there's one thing COVID-19 taught everybody is that you don't need to be on site to do anything. If you can set up a Zoom call,
right,
you can get anything done. So
right.
I don't know, but is the NFL rule? The NFL rule is that if anybody is
right, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's unfortunately what it is for them. So that's a tough spot for Browns for tonight.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. But yeah, that's what's going on around the league right now. A couple Patriots players made the Pro Bowl, the first team All-Pro.
First team All-Pro.
Hunter Jake Bailey, he made the Pro Bowl, and punt returner Gunnar
first team All-Pro.
First team All-Pro. Gunnar made first team All-Pro. Matthew Slater made second team All-Pro.
I was there.
Right, Bill Belichick, the greatest special teamer of all time.
Like the guy just
with his resume, and accolades.
I mean, let's not make it like it's like the greatest job ever. He's the greatest at one of the.
And there's only a guy number at those positions. He's for us for a really long time. So I don't know. I don't see nobody play. I mean, he's a great captain.
Yeah,
great captain, great locker room.
Great leader, yeah.
You need
those post-game speeches are legendary for sure. He definitely is. I want to do it like Slade.
How do we feel? I will not be the playoff this week. Oh yeah.
That's not good.
No, he came back just to do that role when he's tired.
Yo, for real.
Post-game speeches.
Just break it down
after he's retired. Right, exactly.
With John Harbaugh, Bill Belichick. So if they come back as a special team coach, I would love it.
Awesome.
I would love it.
Our team would be at the top every single year.
Maybe not guarantee that, but he might be a great coach.
Oh man, I'd be willing to bet on that. Him coming in, players understanding him understanding every position out there. There's better than that, And the best to ever do it.
And he played receiver, he played safety.
He played some.
So he definitely deserves that coaching job on the staff as soon as
maybe 2030, Matthew Slater, coach of the New England Patriots.
Ooh, that's a bold prediction.
Exactly. That is possible. Who knows?
But by the time we reach our 100th 900th episode, he might be the coach.
Something I heard, because the clubhouse situation.
Yeah,
I was hearing this fact. It was like, did you know that 900,000 podcasts was created in 2020? because of the pandemic.
Whoa!
Damn.
Wow!
Yeah, and they said
That's
within a
insane.
year, there's going to be like 150,000 to 200,000 left.
Yeah,
Wow.
but yeah,
That's
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I'm sure a lot of it are gonna fall off, and some of it are gonna prosper. So let's make sure we are in the prosper column.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I've had people, tell me about podcasts that started after we started, and they're already done. It's like,
Yeah.
Wow, damn, that was fast.
Work got in the way. Like, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, right. Well, life got in the way.
Right.
No, but that's what happens though. Words get in the way. People can't stay consistent. That's exactly what happens though.
That's it. But not us, man. We gonna stay
Nah,
consistent.
for sure. Yeah, real quick. I heard of this group of 3 people that decided to do a podcast, and they only made it like 5 episodes, and they already, what I'm saying, like stopped doing it and didn't even continue and keep up with it after that 5th episode. So no, we're very fortunate and blessed to be able to make it over 40 episodes now, going on 50, and still be able to do what we do consistently each and every week. So it's definitely a blessing, and let's definitely keep this going, and and keep doing what we do, keep doing our thing.
Yeah, man, this dude was like, yo, this is mad work. I'm like, yeah, like, it's what you thought this was. You're just gonna come in here and record some shit. But let's get into the Super Wildcard weekend, man. So that's very well underway. We've had several games already played. So we saw the Bills versus the Colts played on Saturday, and the Bills took the game 27-24 against the Colts. Philip Rivers still not winning in the playoffs, no matter what team he's on. The Rams played the Seahawks.
You want to talk about that game first, and then we can move on to the next game?
Yeah. No, I'm just giving the scores, and then we can move on into the games. The Rams versus the Seahawks. The Rams took it 30-20. The Buccaneers versus Washington. Bucks took it 31-23. And then the games we got left are the Ravens beat the Titans 20-13. Games we got left is the Bears versus the Saints and the Browns versus the Steelers. We'll do some predictions for y'all after that, but let's get into the Bills versus the Colts. The Bills won their first playoff games in 25 years, and their quarterback Josh Allen completed 26 out of 35 passes with 324 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs continues to kill the league, in production with 6 catches for 128 yards and a TD. And it was a good game, and so I think some of the questions we can ask from that game is this Philip Rivers' last game, because he's coming from the Chargers. The last game as a Colt or in the NFL period. And then we got Stephon Diggs, the biggest acquisition of the offseason, because he's been able to pretty much break all that franchise's record in 1 year. So what you guys see in the game? Did you guys enjoy the game? Yeah,
it was the first game of the playoffs, so I always look forward to Wildcard weekend, and it's always enjoyable to have games on Saturday. It was a great game between the Bills and the Colts. The Colts put up a good fight, but the Bills came on top, as you mentioned. I don't know if this is Philip Rivers' last game in the NFL, but I think it might. I'm not sure if the Colts are going to bring him back up, sign him again. But at the same time, I don't know what do the Colts have as a replacement.
Who are they going to sign?
Exactly. So they might as well. If he wants to stay, they might as well keep him.
If they let him go, he's playing for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, right. Yeah. Let's not go there.
But I'm gonna keep this short. Josh Allen looks tremendous. Like, his decision making, his throwing, his extending the plays, decision making. I don't know. Like, I'm very, very, very impressed by Josh Allen. I mean, I remember maybe a couple years ago, last year, I was like, he's bound to throw an interception. He's bound to throw the game away. But this year, he's been looking unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure Stephen Diggs, which is the greatest acquisition from the offseason, made a difference. But just he's not forcing the ball. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's not trying to win the game with one play. I'm very impressed by Josh Allen. I mean, if he can keep this up, he's gonna be a good quarterback for a long time. That's what I took from that game. I'm just very, very impressed by Josh Allen.
Yeah, I certainly thought it was a really good game, good start to the NFL playoffs, and that was a tough, physical, game by both teams. I thought both teams played pretty well. There were some mistakes made, by both sides, but I thought overall it was a pretty well-played game. Certainly, the Bills obviously made more plays and played a little bit better, and definitely pulled it out. Things, that stood out to me. I think it was definitely not only the Bills' offense, but I thought the Bills' defense played pretty well for the most part. I think, they definitely did a good job against the Colts running game. They have a pretty good running game and being able to run the football well, with their, really good offensive line, one of the top offensive lines in the NFL. I certainly think they did a good job of, limiting them in the running game and, and forcing Phillip Rivers to make some plays with his arm, which he did, but, he clearly didn't make enough. I thought, that their rush was pretty good, in getting to him and getting some pressure on Phillip Rivers. So certainly they did a good job with that. And then offensively, I think Vlad pretty much said it all. Offensively, I think a thing that stood out to me was, was how balanced they are on offense. That it's just not all the passing game. Like the running backs are solid, and they do have a good all around offense. As well. I think those two running backs are pretty good, and Moss and Singletary. I think unfortunately, Moss is going to be a loss for them since he got injured with his ankle injury, and they said he could miss some time. But I certainly think that they're one of the top teams in the AFC, as they've shown all year, and I think they're a legitimate contender to make to make it out of the AFC and into the Super Bowl. They have all the they have all the things that you need from a team that is looking to make a deep run in the playoffs, and they have very few weaknesses. So I think that they've certainly proved themselves that they can play with anybody and with with the better teams in this league. So that definitely it was good for them to see them win a playoff game, because they had always come up short in previous years in the playoffs. So was looking to see whether this year would be different, and that was the case. So they definitely earn the right to play next weekend, and we'll see how they do moving forward and who they play next, depending on how the Browns and Steelers game goes.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills and the Ravens, I think, are my two dark horses, in the postseason this year. Just because, like you guys said, Josh Allen is playing great. His decision making, his ball placement, throwing on the move, the connection he has with Stephon Diggs, they got to be like, one of the, top wide receiver QB duos in the league by now, you know, given how much production they've had all year, you know. I mean, this team was on a up and up since like 2 years ago, you know, and they got their head coach, and then you know, how they presented such a challenge last year, even when they played the Patriots, you know, like Vlad said, Josh Allen was still like making, you know, some weird decisions, you know, at key points in the game. But this year, those mental lapses have disappeared. You know, even the game yesterday, you know, where, you know, they were in some tough spots and he like maneuvered and made the right throws, and, you know, he just made the right decision pretty much throughout the game. And, you know, that's really what you need in this league, you know. And I think for sure, like Barry was saying, I don't know, they could take it as far as they want, you know. They do need to shore up, you know, their defense against tight ends, because the tight ends was killing them yesterday.
Yeah, Jack Doyle absolutely torched them yesterday. Right.
So they got to figure that out, you know, for sure. And, you know, sometimes their running game can be susceptible as well, you know. But luckily yesterday for them, they were pretty good. You know, they were pretty good. And, you know, all around, it really came down to the special teams too. Because had, you know, the Rodrigo made that one field goal, the game's a tied game at the end of the game.
Right, would have gone to overtime, exactly.
It would have gone to overtime at least, you know.
Right.
So it goes to show you, like, you know, 3 phases of the game, it all matters, man. And, you know, it's like that one mistake, you know, could derail your whole season, and now they're going home. So, all in all, like Barry was saying, it was a really good game. It was a competitive game. I like that one team wasn't overmatched. You know, both teams was in the game the whole time. And, you know, that's what playoff football is about. You know what I'm saying? It's a chess match. And,
exactly.
you know, when guys prepare for you, you get good product out there. And, you know, I hope it continues, you know, and nobody, like, drops the ball and, you know, just gets dominated, you know. But let's move on to the Rams versus the Seahawks. 2 weeks ago, Jamal Adams lit a cigar at the podium. You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen that,
because the Seahawks had beaten the Rams to actually take the division away from them when they had been, you know, pretty much leading it with it the whole year. And, you know, they made he lit a cigar, and ironically this week, you know, the Rams came to their house and took the game. You know, their running back Akers, man, he had 176 total yards.
Jeez.
A total of 176. He had 131 rushing yards, you know, with a TD, which is absolute. Like, it was crazy. You know, Jared Goff went 9 for 19 for 155, 1 TD. Actually, the starting quarterback for the Rams went out the game after a bad hit. And, you know, the story is he was actually taken to the hospital by ambulance. But Jared Goff was, you know, suited up as the emergency quarterback of that game because 12 days prior he had surgery on his thumb, his throwing hand thumb, you know, because he broke it. So he had surgery. So he was just there for emergency purposes, and he had to come in the game, and he actually outplayed Russell Wilson when he came in the game. You know, Russell Wilson, he was sacked 5 times. Aaron Donald had 2 sacks. What do you got? Like, what happened to Russell Wilson yesterday?
That defensive line from the Rams played well. They played well. They didn't give him time to throw. Aaron Donald was. I thought in that first half, Aaron Donald determined how that game was gonna go. He took over that game and disrupted the Seahawks offensive line and offense period. They couldn't really do much, you know what I mean? And every play you heard Aaron Donald, you know what I mean? And he played he was the main guy of that game, even though he ended up coming out that game because he couldn't catch his breath at the end of the game. But as far as impact, he just he's just a transformational player. You know, it's almost like LT. You know what I mean? Lawrence Taylor. When people talk to you about Lawrence Taylor, how he would take over the game and change the game. That's basically what Aaron Donald did. He took over that game and affected the way the Seahawks were playing. And Russell Wilson got sacked 5 times, and he sacked him twice. He sacked him twice in the first half. So I think what happened to Russell Wilson, Aaron Donald.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with that. Those were all really good, points. I mean, their defense really won the game for them, and that was as dominant of performance as I've seen in the playoffs on a defense in recent years, with really the exception of how the Patriots defense dominated the same Los Angeles Rams team in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Definitely the whole defense was really good. You pretty much already said that. I think what stood out to me was not only Jared Goff's ability to manage the game as he did when he came in, but the running game and the way they were able to control the football on the ground and control the time of possession and keeping Russell Wilson off the field and moving the ball and moving the chains effectively as they did. I think that's another thing that stuck out to me besides the Rams defense. Definitely, like you said, Cam Akers had himself a day. Like he balled out and absolutely took over that game and was as dominant as Aaron Donald was. Like, they just had no answer for him. They made the Seahawks defense look extremely soft, as soft as cottonelle tissue paper, and they couldn't fight their way through a wet paper bag. Like, they just ran right down their throat and right through them all game long, and Seattle didn't have an answer for it as all. So I think, Bobby Wagner made a few plays in the beginning of the game, but then he got banged up, and as soon as that happened, it was, they just, continuously ran the ball, right down the field and were able to control the game that way. I think definitely this was an impressive win for the Rams. I thought the Seahawks were going to win this game. Definitely was disappointed in their performance on both sides of the ball, particularly, Russell Wilson. Had a tough day going against that defense. And it seems like that defense and that team has the Russell Wilson and the, and the Seahawks number. They've given them a tough time this year in all the games that they've played, all 3 games. Russ has not really played well and looked like himself. Yeah, and he definitely wasn't cooking yesterday. When they say let Russ cook, he really couldn't cook at all and hasn't cooked at all against the Rams. So, definitely Jalen Ramsey shut down DK Metcalf as he has all year.
There's not really much else to add to, what each of you was saying. I think for the most part, it was just the defense. The defense, like, it's surprising because it's the Seahawks and we've just been used to, them being so defensively dominant, coming from like the Legion of Boom and, how everything used to work over there. And now it's just not the same because they're getting gashed and Jamal Adams can't seem to cover anything, that's thrown at all, ever. For a guy like that to be the one that's celebrating every time they win, it's just like, what are you doing, So it just makes you look bad. And, unfortunately, all year that was the problem for the Seahawks anyway. Their defense wasn't great. Like you saw what happened between them and the Patriots where, it was a really competitive game. Even though, as you saw at the end of the year, like that team wasn't really a good team and they gave the Seahawks problems. And pretty much every other team after that gave them problems too. Like if an offense was going against the Seahawks defense in fantasy, you would play that quarterback because they were highly successful, against them, quarterback and running backs. They were all highly successful against that defense. And as they say, defense wins championships, and they didn't have any. And, the Rams have the best defense in the playoffs right now. So, it's going to be hard for anybody to face them. But let's go into the Buccaneers versus the Washington Redskins. That was surprisingly a competitive game, right? Tom Brady went 22 for 40 for 2 TDs. Mike Evans caught 6 passes for 119 yards. Taylor Heineke, he's the guy that played quarterback for Washington. He went 26 for 44 with 1 TD and 1 interception. And you know what? Like last night, other than Tom Brady, Taylor Heineke was the star of the game last night.
Actually, I think he was the star of the game. I was, I'm usually like checking Twitter to see what people are talking about.
It blew up.
And Taylor Heineke, I feel like, had more mentions on Tom Brady.
He
like
did.
Every other post was about Taylor Heineke, and deservedly so, because he had such a great game. He played feistly. He made such good throws. I was surprised by how well he played.
You know what? Because there's a question on here that said, why didn't the Patriots bring in Taylor Heineke? And should the Patriots bring in Taylor Heineke, right? And while I was watching the game, especially the throw he made
that touchdown,
that touchdown at the sideline.
Yeah,
I said to myself, no Patriots quarterback has made a throw like this all season.
Right.
Like that was crazy to me, and he, like you said, deservedly so. He was the star of the game, and he showed grit, he showed heart. The guy was like messed up his whatever non-throwing shoulder. You could clearly see that he was in pain. And what's funny? I'm like, dude, this is a Tom Brady moment right here. Like if he beats the GOAT, that's crazy. And he came close. But no cigar. But that was a really entertaining game. What'd you guys see? And then we can talk about if the Patriots should bring this guy in, if they can bring him in.
Yeah, I thought, I thought it was the last game of the night. I was really looking forward to it as a Tom Brady fan. So I wanted, and just to let you guys know, I'm rooting for the Bucs doing the playoffs, doing these playoffs. So I thought Brady had a good game. I think his receivers let him down a little bit toward that game because they were dropping balls left and right. He was throwing some really good balls, and especially Goodwin, is that his name?
Yeah, Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin. He was dropping balls left and right, and Brady was throwing darts.
Oh yeah, darts. Oh yeah.
And but I think Washington showed that they weren't scared, especially Taylor Heineke. They made it a game. They almost could have beaten the Bucs. So it was actually more competitive than I thought it was gonna be. But the overpowering offense of the Bucs took over and they won that game.
We're just gonna say I ended up giving Chris Godwin a new nickname after last night. It's Chris Dropwin.
Chris Dropwin.
yeah, that's what I was calling him. Yeah, since he had, at least from what I counted, about 5 drop passes last night. At least could have had more, but from what I was keeping track of watching the game, had at least 5 drops. Maybe it was playoff jitters and butterflies.
And Brady kept going back to him?
Right, exactly. That was the shocking part. Usually, Brady, when a guy drops, a couple of passes,
you're done.
He stops, throwing the ball his way and looking for someone else, which is especially as many receivers and weapons as the Bucs offense has. But definitely this was an okay game for the Bucs. I thought in the first half they, played pretty well offensively and they were moving the ball well, particularly, and then in the passing game before they started dropping the balls. But I thought the running backs, particularly Leonard Fournette, was running the football effectively, and then they were able to do some play action, which really worked well for them. In the first half, but then in the second half, they just really couldn't move the ball and didn't really do too much, from an offensive standpoint. And then their defense kind of looked suspect to me, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I really wasn't too impressed with the way they played defensively. And, they just barely hung on to win that game. And they're going to need to play better than, what they played, particularly on the defensive side, if they're going to advance and make a deep playoff run in the NFC. Because it's just they barely beat the Washington football team, and that's just not really gonna get it done in the playoffs if when you place better competition, either the Packers or the Saints next weekend. But who's good? The win's a win, and I guess the Bucks will be moving on, and we'll see how they do for the rest of the postseason. But definitely. Shout out to that backup quarterback, Taylor Heineke, for playing his ass off and having an impressive performance that he did last night. He did his thing and showed some incredible amount of toughness and heart out there on the field. And he was actually on the Patriots he was on the Patriots practice squad at one point when Tom Brady was here. I think a few years ago. So I just actually wanted to point that out, that he was on our roster at one point. So it wasn't for very long, but he was here nonetheless. So we'll see if they bring him back, in which I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, they wouldn't bring him back. Why would Washington let that guy go? Because right now, who do they have? Alex Smith. The guy was out for a calf injury, and you can't really rely on that. They have nobody else. So right now, he is the guy. Unless they go out into the draft and pick up a quarterback, or they get a quarterback via free agency. I don't see how that guy would come in with us. You know what I'm saying? So So you seem to know about him, right? Do you remember why we didn't bring him in?
No, not exactly. I don't remember the exact reason of why we didn't keep him on the roster, bringing him. I was saying this was when Tom Brady was still here, was still with the Patriots, that he was on the practice squad. So this was a little while ago.
Right.
We had him on. As far as why they didn't bring him in this year, I have no idea. They had their opportunity to be able to get a chance to bring him in and give him a chance to play. But yeah, I'm unsure and kind of trying to figure this out like you guys, why they didn't bring him on this roster as bad as the quarterback play was this year for the Pats. So that's puzzling and baffling to me, why he didn't get a chance here.
Yeah, actually Washington picks number 3. They picked 3 in the third, in the upcoming draft. Yeah. So
interesting. I did not know that.
So I don't know. That's going to be something, and they're projected to actually pick a quarterback. So, I guess there's a chance that he could, be available. What if another team comes in and actually tries to trade for something for him? So we'll see what happens with that.
For sure. No, definitely an interesting thing that just came to mind real quick is that apparently they're one of the teams that's interested in Cam Newton and would even offer him a contract, I think, of around 2 years of $40 million or something like that. I was hearing earlier this year, which is pretty laughable and hilarious to me that anybody would offer him that contract. with the season he has. But I mean, there's some connections there with him
Right,
and
Ron Rivera. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why anyone would be interested in that guy. But I definitely think Taylor Heineke's a far much better quarterback than Newton, and they should keep him, at least for the time being until they can find someone else to be their next franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I'd gladly make that swap if that was the case right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The Ravens versus the Titans. That was a hardly fought game as well. The Ravens won 20-13. The Ravens were at the Titans' house. There was a lot of trash talking, prior to the game. Last time they played each other, the Titans, the Ravens players the Titans players were stomping on the Ravens logo. Jim Harbaugh had a real, he didn't like that very much. He thought that was disrespectful. So both coaches met in the middle of the field. And they had a little spat. So, there's bad blood. So, we saw Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry had like 40 yards,
Crazy.
Right. And, unlike last year, the Ravens running game, showed up for them. I believe Lamar Jackson had like 137 rushing yards for himself and then had, 179-yard passing, so he had a very Lamar Jackson-like, game. And he won his first playoff game, in his career. I'm sure you guys watched the game. What did you see in the game? And what were your thoughts about the game? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, this was playoff atmosphere. This was definitely, these teams played each other last year during the playoffs in Wildcard playoff. Not Wildcard, divisional round. Excuse me. They played each other during the season this year, and now they played each other again. So it's becoming like a small rivalry in the AFC. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the trash talking. I enjoyed them going at each other. Obviously, the Ravens took this one and they actually stomped on the Tennessee logo this time, the Titans logo. Lamar Jackson exploded. He exploded and he basically took over that game. He's the reason why they won that game. But that was a really, really close game and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think for sure it was a really good, playoff game and a good, physical, tough, grinded out kind of game. But for sure, which then defensive, minded kind of game as well. But defensive and then special teams, for sure, were big factors in the game. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's performance was impressive. He finally got over the hump. I actually picked the Ravens to win this game. I thought it was time for him to finally, get that monkey off his back and win a playoff game. And I felt like he was ready to do so and definitely, showed that was the case, that, he's, ready to, take that next step, which is, become a better quarterback in the playoffs, which he certainly did that today. But I thought really the story in this defense, in this game, was the Ravens defense and also how physical, they were, and then how physical the Ravens were on both sides of the ball, on offense and defense. I thought they were the tougher team. They took it right to the Tennessee Titans, and I thought that on both sides of the line of scrimmage, they won the battle. I feel like that was where the game was won, was, on the line of scrimmage, on the offense and defensive line. They controlled that part of the game, and I felt like that's pretty much was, how they were able to really come out on top, in this game, was being, the more physical team and playing the Titans game, but playing it better than them. And and shutting down Derrick Henry like we've never seen anybody shut him down before. So that pretty much were the reasons to me and why the Ravens were able to win this game. And it's scary for them to, play like that because, if they can play like that against the Titans, they can do that on just about anybody in the AFC. So they definitely got to watch out for the Ravens in the playoffs.
Yeah, so what I saw was these teams swapping game plans from last year. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing that happened to the Ravens last year, the Ravens did it to the Titans this year. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Henry had like 40 yards in the whole game. Like you said, the defensive line just they shut down the right person, and like, no offense, like, Ryan Tannehill, like, he's not like the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, he had like a really good year last year, as when it came to throwing, when it came to timeliness of these throws that he was making, and this week they pretty much put the game in his hand, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, his interception at the end of the game is what Marcus Peters intercepted him at the end of the game.
Yeah, and he said we ain't done yet.
Yeah.
I think we ain't done yet. So he came through. Marcus Peters, man, and he was talking hella shit after the game too, man.
Oh, yeah, he was.
That wasn't a bad throw by Tannehill, but it was a bad decision because he had AJ Brown open on the other side of the field, and he threw it to number 14. I forgot his name, but that dude fell, and Marcus Peters took the ball and
full advantage,
and he started stomping over the logo.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why he went away from AJ Brown. AJ Brown was having a really good game and their best receiver.
It would have been
by far.
It would have been a touchdown
and would have tied the game. Exactly right. I don't know why he didn't look for him as his first option or his first read on that play. That's what really baffles me about that is the fact that he didn't throw to him not only on that play but late in the game, why they really went away from him, especially since, like we said, they didn't have the running game going and they took that away. So I'm surprised that AJ Brown wasn't thrown to on that play and towards the end of the game.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah,
sure.
Ryan Tannehill looked like the Miami Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he went back to his Dolphin days. With that, when we used to dominate, the Patriots used to dominate him because he was just so god awful.
I mean, look at who he had to compete with, Marcus Mariota. Like, that guy hasn't done much in this league himself, so
right.
Much to like supersede him and take that starting role from him, especially because Marcus Mariota doesn't seem like the guy who's gonna be like, yeah, let me get this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's more like the reserve, like, part of the team, like, let's do what we got to do type dude.
Right.
But needless to say, they're out of the playoffs, and the Ravens ain't done yet. And at some point in the year, it looked like the Ravens had some of the same odds as the Patriots to make it, close to the end of the season, and then they pretty much just kept winning and winning. Their destiny was in their hands, and they're taking it right now. And I feel like they're one of those teams that believe they can do certain things right now.
Yeah, I think they're on a 6-game winning streak right now because I think they won the last 5 games of their regular season, and then they won today. So yeah, they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and Bart Jackson's a big part of that and one of the hottest quarterbacks. They're definitely have been playing really well in the winning streak. So they're getting hot at the right time, and sometimes that's all it really takes and what it comes down to, and who gets hot at the right time. And the Ravens look like that. They're that team right now.
You know what team they reminded me of that was in a similar position as far as like seeding? The New York Giants that played the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
When it comes to like their seeding positions and how they just like raped every last game and went through the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if they have that kind of luck. But they're moving on, and I feel like they're a really dangerous team in this thing now. So Sunday afternoon, it's the Saints versus the Bears. So the Saints are at home. They're playing on Sunday afternoon, as we are recording this podcast. So we're gonna do some quick predictions, like Bears versus Saints. What do you guys got?
I for some reason I want to hate against the Saints and I want to pick the Bears, but that'd be crazy. That'd be a crazy pick. I don't think the Bears got it in them as much as I would want them to win. Currently, the game, Drew Brees just threw his first touchdown, and the Saints are winning by 7-0. So I think that I do think that the Saints are gonna win that game. And I think Drew Brees is gonna have a good game. Alvin Kamara, all those guys are back, so it'll be hard for the Bears to stop that team.
Yeah, actually, they actually just almost tied the game, and this dude dropped a wide open pass.
Yeah.
God.
That in the end zone.
Of course that would happen.
That's crazy.
Of course.
Barry, what do you got?
Yeah, I got the Saints winning this game. I'll just keep it short and sweet. I don't believe in Mitch Trubisky. I don't think he can, go on the road and beat New Orleans Saints team in the playoffs, and that this offense of the Bears is good enough to be able to put enough points up on the board to win. I mean, I don't really need to say much about the Saints. We already know all about, who they have and, who they are as a team. So they're just simply the better team in this matchup and should be able to win this game handily. It should be over by halftime. I think so. I don't think the Bears will be, that competitive in this game and will do that much on offense.
I mean, say what you want, but, Mitch Trubisky has been doing well, since he came back as a starter of this team. Actually, I know he's definitely won some fantasy playoffs with some people this year. So,
I still don't believe in him. I still don't.
I'm not saying that, but I think he hasn't been playing terrible. You know what I'm saying? Let's say that.
No, I hear you.
He's looked like an NFL quarterback the last few weeks, that can actually make some stuff happen. But the Browns are going to play the Steelers. The Browns will be at the Steelers. So what's your prediction on that? The Browns recently beat the Steelers to get into the playoffs a week ago, and now they're about to play again. And Juju Smith-Schuster says the Browns are the Browns. They're like gray faces over there. So, this guy, if he's not making TikToks, he's talking out his ass. So,
that's what he does.
Well, what's your prediction for that?
I want to pick the Browns. But the fact that the coach is out, I don't know. I just feel as though it's just weird. You know what I mean? It's something because, it's the first playoff game in God knows how long. And as much as I want to pick them, I just feel as though the playoff experience that the Steelers have is going to take over and they're going to win that game. So I'm picking the Steelers.
I don't know, because I feel like with this game, even I know it's a big, rivalry game between these two teams, and I know the Browns are in a really tough spot, and with not only their coaching situation, but as far as the personnel that they're missing with Olivier Vernon and and Denzel Ward as well, two of their best defensive players. Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to pick the Browns to win, I just have to go with the Steelers. Even though I'd like to see the Browns win and pull off the upset, but I think they're just so at this disadvantage with the guys that aren't there and won't be available to them tonight, that I think it's gonna come back to to bite them and to cost them this game. I think the Steelers are, definitely, the better team. Slightly better. I think they'll play better than what they have towards the end of the season. Particularly on offense. I think their offense is going to get going and play better and be more effective than what it was. They're going to have to be good in the short passing game. So I think with Ben Roethlisberger, will definitely have to play really well and be on top of his game. And I think if he is, then the Steelers will have a really good chance of winning this game, in which I think that will be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think I want the story to be, the Browns went in there without a coach, without players, and the underdog just, went out and just took it, But my sane self tells me, the Steelers should take this game, just because of all the circumstances surrounding the Browns, and you guys already mentioned them. So, I feel bad for them because it sucks that they can't have their coach. It sucks that they're out really good players. But we've seen crazier things in this league before. We've seen the Steelers lose to some really terrible teams, So don't know what's gonna happen, but I predict that the Steelers would win.
Right, but that's definitely going to be a really close game, even with, as much as the Browns are missing. I still think they're going to compete and play hard. I just don't think they have enough to be able to win and pull off the upset, even though I'd like to see it happen. But
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for us for the NFL. We're going to go into the NBA, where there's a lot happening with the NBA. Unlike the bubble, coronavirus has affected the NBA tremendously this year so far already, and it's been a short season. All these guys are flying to all these games. They're in different cities. They're going back home. There's a lot at risk for these guys, and it's just not a good setup as we can see. Because a lot of people are coming up positive. So the 76ers, Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle, Vincent Poirier. It's not Poirier, it's Poirier.
Poirier, right.
Yeah, they all were out for the game due to COVID-19 protocols, and they had 7 active players. We saw rookie Tyrese Maxey blow up with 37 points in that game. Predictably they lost, but not by much. They didn't lose by much. It was still, a somewhat competitive game, but it was hard. The Mavericks lost Jalen Brunson, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith. The Miami Heat lost Avery Bradley. The Wizards, Bradley Beal. The Nets lost Kevin Durant. To that, he actually, I don't think he tested positive, but he was around somebody that had tested positive. But Kevin Durant still has the antibodies in him since he actually had the COVID-19 before. So he could be on his way back for the next game. So that's that. And the coronavirus has hit the Celtics as well. So Robert Williams tested positive. Jason Tatum tested positive. And due to that, Jaylen Brown, Semi Ojeleye, Javonte Green, Grant Williams, Tristan Thompson, they're all in health and safety protocols and will miss games against Miami Heat on Sunday, January 10th. Leaving them with very little players to play. And the players that are going to be playing is Marcus Smart, Jeff Teague, Peyton Pritchard, Carson Edwards, Tremont Waters, Aaron Nesmith, Daniel Tice, and Taco Falls. So we're up to see some interesting, very, very interesting game. How do you guys think this is going to, affect the NBA? Do you guys think that's something that's going to eventually, start causing teams not to be able to play games and maybe interfere with the season?
I think that there are going to be games that are going to be affected by this. There are going to be games that are going to be postponed because they don't have enough players. But I don't think it's going to derail the season at all. I think just the same way that the MLB dealt with it, where they had to postpone a couple games. I think they're gonna have to do that. I think what they're gonna do, though, I think they're gonna basically increase the safety protocols for the players, so that the players don't, don't go out, don't go to bars. I think they're just gonna make that a lot stricter. But I do believe that the season will continue. Like I said, they're gonna be postponed some games, but it's COVID-19. That's what it is this year. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, I want to start off by saying that that's already happened actually with games being postponed with the Celtics and the Heat. They actually their game got officially postponed.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah. They
I did not see that.
Announced. Yeah, I just saw that on my phone as an update and breaking news. So they did decide to do that because I believe the Heat had someone that also tested for COVID. But I'm with Vlad on this one. I think it's definitely concerning as far as how COVID has hit the NBA and the number of teams it's already hit in the short amount of time that this season has been played. I certainly think that maybe they should take a little pause and and give teams time to heal and recover from this, since it's feel like it's hitting way too many teams at this point in time. But I've been hearing that the league has no plans in doing that, so I think most likely they're not going to do that. They'll probably just, like you said, have to make the rules stricter for the teams. But I feel like they've already made the rules stricter, and it still hasn't really done much and been good enough. I don't know if these guys are, responsible or mature enough to, be able to go by the rules, since, a number of them have already, broken the rules, and we're seeing their teams suffer the consequences for that. So, I mean, unfortunately, I don't know what else the league can do at this point. I mean, it's too little too late to do the bubble thing again, since the season's already started. So we'll see what happens and how the season goes along with with what has gone on. But I'm hoping that they can make it through the season. But I do have my concerns that they may not be able to do that for too much longer. We'll wait and see on that.
Yeah, the NBA is in a tough spot. You can't really ask these guys to quarantine themselves for what, like 7-8 months or whatever. Like 5 months for the for the rest of the season. Be away from their families and stuff like that. Unless you're gonna create a way for all their families to be there, which that stuff will be costing huge amounts of money. Based off all the accommodations they got to make, amenities, the ways they just have to, organize themselves to accommodate these players. So I don't think that's realistic at all. But definitely this season is not going to be postponed because a lot of money's involved, man. And, you saw the NFL, you saw MLB, games will be played. You guys agreed to play. So that's what we're going to do. One guy, that hasn't agreed to play for some reason is Kyrie Irving. So he decided not to play on Thursday, January 7th against the 76ers. The comment from Steve Nash was, I messaged with Kai Thursday. Nash said, I'm just going to keep the conversation between us. And apparently when, Kyrie Irving was asked, he said he just didn't want to play. And that was it. I know you guys saw that because, when Kyrie Irving speaks, it's like headline news. So what do you guys think is going on? You guys think it's because of the insurrection that just happened the other day and Kyrie's just like so conflicted, or like what do you guys think is going on?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much related to what happened at the U.S. Capitol over the week. I think that's his way of protesting, which I'm not going to even hold it against him. I know it's weird. It's Kyrie and Kyrie be doing weird shit, and especially us Boston, we don't fuck with Kyrie like that. But I think this time I'm gonna give him a pass. I think he's out there just protesting against what happened. What I have a problem with is that nobody knows that's what he's doing. So there's no awareness he's raising. He's not.
Well, do you think you want him to be Colin Kaepernick?
I don't. If that's what he wants to do, he should do that. But he should do it in a way that where he's talking to the press, like Colin Kaepernick told people what he was doing, and people were like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna support that." And there were other people that said, "Oh shit, I'm not gonna support that." You know what I'm trying to say? But I like it more when the player comes out and say that's what they're doing, because then everybody else, people can be behind him, people can be against him, but people know what's going on. So with him not saying what's going on, now people are thinking, okay, Kyrie being Kyrie, you know what I mean? So I do think he should speak up and tell people why he's upset.
Not just the insurrection that happened at the Capitol, but also the Jacob Blake ruling came out, and no cops will be charged. If you guys don't know who Jacob Blake is, he's the guy that got shot point blank in his back and is now paralyzed. With I believe his kids were in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And he almost died. So I think the news dropped that wasn't happening either. And if you guys remember in the bubble, these guys were threatening to actually boycott the season due to that same shooting. So maybe that's what Kyrie's going through.
Well, all of that.
Barry, what'd you think?
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with Kyrie's decision not to play, just in terms of you just sitting out just to sit out, because of those two things that you guys just previously stated. I just feel like, what does that do, and how does that benefit and make the situation any better? If anything, if you do actually want to make an impact and protest and and actually make some sort of effect on the situation from a positive standpoint, then you would be smart enough to not only play but use your platform, like we've seen a lot of players have been doing in the league and this week, to use their platform in a way that would, like you guys said, raise awareness for these social injustice issues that are still occurring to this day, and that is still going on in this country. So I don't, really see what sitting out does really for him or for, his team. And and for the situation that we're in as a country, like, that accomplishes absolutely nothing. Like, and I definitely not on his side with it, as far as sitting out and not really playing just because he doesn't want to play and is not in the mood to play. So I think he made the wrong decision and the wrong call on this one, just for the reasons I just previously stated. So that's how I see it with Kyrie. So no, I'm not giving him a pass on this one. He needs to do what the other players have been doing in the league and follow suit if he actually wants to actually be a leader and make some sort of impact on this situation.
You know what's funny? Kyrie's made a lot of passive-aggressive comments about these situations, like, on like social media and stuff like that. But I don't think I've ever seen Kyrie like behind the podium answering questions for what's going on in the country. I don't think
he hasn't done that.
Sat down and, because I posted the video about with Draymond Green pretty much coming hard at the situation. LeBron James. I don't think I've ever seen Kyrie make any public statement about these situations going on. It's always like out of the mouth of other people. It's always like through some social media stuff. My thing is, he's just like the wrong guy to like send these messages, because like he just rubs people the wrong way a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? You know, the way he's interacted, you know, with the media in the recent history, you know, talking about their pawns or whatever. He doesn't talk to pawns or whatever. I don't know. I think this guy has a platform, but he doesn't completely use it in the right way. Like Vlad said, I think all of us are conflicted with this situation. But Vlad, can you just stop going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot just go to work, but I think
No,
Kyrie.
can you just stop? It's like I don't feel like working today.
Yeah, no, I cannot really. I mean, I cannot really do that, right? But but he did talk to his coach, right? And I'm pretty sure that my job, the way my job operates and the way Kyrie job operates, two different things. So I'm not gonna compare them. But if I hit up my boss and I'll be like, "Yo, I don't feel good because of what's happening, because of the Jacob Blake shooting, or what's happening with the US Capitol, and I'm gonna take maybe a couple of days off." He'll understand.
Are you getting paid hundreds of millions?
I'm not though, but that's what I'm saying. His job and my job are two different things though. So
okay, I see.
So
for me, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. It's like, Kyrie, you're getting paid millions of dollars here for like 72 games this year?
Yeah.
For 72 games. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are off days, Kyrie. Like, throughout the season, you know, like whenever we're not practicing, you're by yourself. You're doing whatever. You know, use that time to bring awareness. You know what I'm saying? I feel like also, you know, you're one of the best players on your team. You know, pretty much on all teams that you go to. Like, if I'm one of the other players, I feel like, yo, that's pretty selfish. You know what I'm saying? All of us are out here going to these games. We're all risking our health, too, to go to these games. You know what I mean? And then you just, like, you always leave us high and dry. You know what I'm saying? And as a leader of a team, it just looks bad. You know, and for you to be the guy that's on the, you know, news clippings all the time. You know, granted, I do think that the media hones in on Kyrie a lot of the time. You know, they want to know what he's doing. They want to report on it. Any little thing that's weird to them, they're gonna report on it. So we feed into that for sure. But I think he's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna tell Kyrie how to protest.
Yeah. So moving on to you know, more of the Celtics season right now. Actually, you guys know that the Celtics are number 2 in the East right now, and if they had played today and won the game, they'd be number 1 in the East right now.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
7-3 record, and so do the 76ers. And it's crazy because the 76ers had 7 players active the other day, and you know they had to play the game, and same thing happened to us, and you know we're not playing the game, but again, one of the Heat's players or whatever, you know, one of the members of that organization tested positive just recently. So
Seth Curry, actually, it was who tested positive.
No, I'm talking about the Miami Heat and the Celtics. Right. So we don't know who tested positive as of yet on the Heat, right?
Yeah, no, that didn't come out just yet.
I know if Bradley was out, but I don't know if there's somebody else that tested positive.
They must have, because you know they postponed the game today.
Yeah.
You know, they postponed it just recently. Right.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah, who knows who it was? I'm sure that will come out in the near future.
Right. So the Celtics went on to a little road trip, 4-game road trip, and they came out victorious. They posted a 3-1 record, you know, which, you know, right now has them at the top of the AFC standings right now. You know, so we saw them play the Raptors. They won 126-114. Saw them play the Heat. They won 107-105. They beat the Wizards 116-107. And they've won pretty much 4 in a row. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been playing very well. You know, we've had some contributors so far. You know, as I predicted again, you know, Peyton Pritchard has been, you know, doing well. He had a game winner against the Washington Wizards the other night.
No,
so
I was
that was
against the Miami Heat, the game winner.
yeah, the Miami Heat. The Taco Fall actually played, and I know New England loves Taco Fall, and everybody always asks for him, to be in the games and stuff. He played 19 minutes the other day versus the Wizards, and he actually played pretty well, right? What are you guys thinking about the team, from the last time we spoke about them on this podcast?
Well, the win against the Heat and the win against the Raptors were definitely great win, and I was very impressed by those wins. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, like you said, have been playing pretty well, and those guys have been playing pretty consistently, which I really like. I think I have an issue with the giving up. We're giving up a lot of lead. You know what I mean? Like against the Wizard, we were winning by, I don't know, 25. And we, at the end of the game, they could have won that game. They brought the game down all the way to 4 points. You know what I mean? I do think we are doing better at closing out games, which is good. But if we have a lead and we keep letting the leads go down like that, we're going to lose a couple of really games that we could have won. So, the team is doing okay. They're doing better, but we need to be able to sustain the leads when we have them.
Yeah, without question, Vlad. Certainly with you on that. I like where this team was headed and how they've been playing as of late. They've been playing much better than what we saw in the last stretch of games and before the last time we were here. I think they've improved. In terms of, I think they've been playing better defense. Right, sometimes they have lapses where they're not playing as well defensively, but for the most part, I thought they've been playing pretty well on that end. They've definitely been on offense, moving the ball better. Taking better shots and getting to the basket more, which is what I wanted to see. Since from the last time we're here, and I'm glad that we've been seeing that from this team within the last week or so. Definitely, still not, getting out to the best starts and starting off slow, particularly in that Raptors game. The Raptors were, really shot the ball well and outplayed them in that first quarter, but particularly the first, half of that quarter. And certainly they fell in a hole where luckily they got themselves out of, but, certainly don't want to see them continue to put themselves in those sort of situations and positions, moving forward. But yeah, no, John, your boy, Payne Pritchard, or as people have been calling him, P-Rabbit.
P-Rabbit.
Yeah.
Fast PP.
Yeah, exactly. I know he has tons of nicknames. Right.
8 Mile.
Yeah, that's what JT calls him. Right. Shoot, he already has so many nicknames, or even the GOAT, as JB calls him. No, he's
Boston Pea Party.
I haven't heard that one. People have been saying that one too. I haven't heard
the Boston Pea Party.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. That's the first time I've heard that, but that's hilarious.
There's always that one guy, man. That one guy that we just like blow up and make fan favorites, and
Yeah, he's already starting to become that guy. Early in his rookie season, I think he's certainly played really well, and it certainly looks like providing us with that bench scoring that we've been needing. I know we've been needing a guy that can come in and give us some scoring punch and some instant offense coming off the bench. We've been missing that for a while, so he looks to be filling that void. And he's playing pretty good defense as well, and he's always at the spots at the right time, the right places at the right time, and and knows how to, make those plays in crunch time when, when the team needs, someone to step up and, and guys are, teams are focusing on JB and JT. He, definitely has been finding ways to take advantage of that and, and be able to help the team win. I think, everyone's contributed. It sucks as far as what happened to, Grant Williams and Time Lord and Tristan Thompson, because all those guys were playing well before, them having to be out because of COVID protocols. I was liking what I was seeing from each one of them. It's cool that they all bring something different to the table, and then their game. So that was definitely a tough hit for the Celtics. But I think, like we've even seen the top two stars take their games to the next level too, which is what we wanted to see, and want to see them continue to grow, as well as the rest of the team. And I think, hopefully when everyone comes back, they can continue to keep playing well and can play how they did before COVID hit the team. So I'm looking forward to seeing that them continue to keep improving and keep growing and keep getting better as the season goes along.
Like Vlad was saying, man, the only issue I have with this team is going up, 22 and they have a good first quarter, they extend the lead in the second quarter, go up by like 22. And then by the time the 5th minute in the fourth quarter comes where, the team has either tied or they're down by only 4 and, I'm at the edge of my seat freaking, like they just made it a game against the Wizards, the other day. A team we were obliterating pretty much all game. And then the last 10 minutes, we just forgot to play defense.
Yeah, what happened on that game? Because, I watched that game and then I didn't watch that part where they blew the lead. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
there
what
was
exactly had
huge defensive lapses. We were turning the ball over. Marcus Smart became a turnover machine out of nowhere. Just Teague started turning the ball over. At some of these moments, it's like, give the ball to Peyton Pritchard, man, because he had even though he's a rookie, he has the cleanest handle on the team already. It's kind of weird because
right, and he doesn't turn it over. Right.
One, his dribble never stops. He dribbles throughout the you know what I'm saying? Like he never picks up his dribble. He's kind of like what's that dude's name? Steve Nash in that way, where he's just like he's constantly has the ball and he's moving it and the way he maneuvers and if he's not scoring, he's creating for somebody else, and he has great timely assists and stuff like that. And I feel like in some of these crucial moments, like Marcus Smart, you shouldn't be handling the ball, because for some reason in those moments he's erratic, especially after your second, third turnover. It's like take him off the ball. You know what I'm saying? And for him, Peyton, he's had some opportunities where he's pretty much capitalized on them throughout these games, and it's been good for him. Other than that, it's been good. We've seen Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're ascending. I saw a stat the other day that they've had the most points as a duo in the league, with some of the top people out there. So they're working pretty well. You can tell that they like playing with each other. You can tell that, Jason Tatum actually said, we'll be playing together for a long time. So I think those rumors about, James Harden being traded here, they're probably not, they're probably not what's actually happening, because we know the NBA is about rumors a lot of the times. But if Jason Tatum's telling you they're going to be playing together for a long time, I don't think they would just trade Jaylen Brown and not tell him anything. You know what I'm saying? So
right. I don't know about that.
your best player, you're not gonna tell we're just gonna trade.
Yeah, people, it happens all the time. I'm not saying they're gonna do that. Obviously, I'm not saying that, but
I think NBA teams are small enough.
The way this league works, if especially if you have a mogul that's good at making trades and the trade comes in, I'm not saying you're not gonna let him know, but you don't necessarily know 10 days in advance. You might know 1 day, 2 days in advance. So you never know. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, Jaylen Brown's making it hard for us to even think about trading him.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't want to trade Jaylen Brown for sure.
Yo, the guy has
me either. No,
improved.
absolutely not.
He's been showing improvements again. Like, he's showing improvement every single year going on, and he's showing improvement again. Yeah. You know, where his mid-range is damn near lethal now. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's attacking the basket at all times. You know, he's making right passes. He's making timely shots. Like, the guy has been – we clearly know who the top two players on this team are. You know, I think even when Kemba comes back, they're going to know, like, these guys are it. You know what I'm saying?
This is their team, exactly.
Like, it really is their team. And, you know, they've taken on the challenge. And, you know, it's just been going well for them. And, you know, I couldn't be more happy for them, because especially for Jaylen Brown, because I feel like he deserves it. You know, he hasn't been trusted so much to, like, be the leader of the team or be the top option, you know, per se in the last couple of years. But I'm glad that he's getting that chance, and he's running away with it, man. And, you know, the way, you know, the chemistry works, I don't know if you're going to trade that guy to bring in somebody else. You know, I just don't see that happening right now, you know.
Right, and I think Jaylen Brown, there was a lot of questions as far as people questioning whether he is a guy that's a superstar caliber player or a guy that could be like a number 2 option on a championship team. I know the season's still young and still early, but I think he's already proven and answered those questions that, yes, he is a superstar caliber player and that he can be, you know, a top 2 option on a championship team, or even a top 1 option, because I feel like him and Tatum, those guys flip-flop, because either one of those two can go off for 30, 35, even 40 on any given night. Like,
right.
So it's, you know, it's whoever who's hot and who's in rhythm and who has it going offensively that's you can go to. But you can ride either one of those guys and be able to, you know, to win a lot of games and even win a championship. You know, with them, obviously, it has to have to prove that they can do it in the playoffs consistently. But I feel like they're starting to get to that point, and, you know, we're starting to see that slowly but surely.
Yeah, man, and like you said, I hope this thing continues, man. So some of the Celtics' next few games, they're going to be playing the Bulls January 12th at 8 p.m. If, you know, that game's not postponed, you know, due to coronavirus. They're going to be facing the Magic on Wednesday, January 13th at 7:30 p.m., you know. And then the Celtics versus Magic again Friday, January 13th at 7:30. And then Sunday, the 17th at 1 p.m. They have another game. So we'll see what happens with that. And, you know, we'll talk about them, you know, come next episode and all the games they got going on right now. So moving on to the MLB, Cleveland Indians trade Francisco Lindor to the Mets. And that's pretty, you know, that's notable news in the MLB this week. For the NHL, Patrice Bergeron, you know, when it comes to, you know, the Bruins and that matters, Patrice Bergeron has been named a new captain of the team, which, you know, I feel like was predictable because he's been one of the leaders of our team for a long time. So congratulations to him. And that's going to be it for some of our sports, because I don't believe, Vlad, you don't have any soccer this week.
Not this week.
Okay. So we're going to move into questions of the week. Gillette Paul from Malden, you know, this is his first time sending, you know, a question to the platform. So do you believe Peyton Pritchard can become a superstar player and popular player like Kyrie Irving and Jason Tatum?
You know, I'm not going to put him there yet. There's no, I mean, even Jason Tatum is not where Kyrie is yet. You know what I mean? Kyrie is a multiple-time All-Star. He's a NBA champion, and I'm just not going to do that yet. Peyton Pritchard look like a good little player right now, and he looks like he can be a very serviceable player. Now he's going to have to improve every year to become one of those players. Like right now, he looks really good. He looks really good. You know, he had 4 years in college. 4 years in college, he got to improve. So a lot of all of those guys that come out of college, you know, after 1 year, he didn't have to like go through that learning process. You know what I'm trying to say? But I'm not gonna predict that yet. I think he's gonna be a solid player. Definitely a solid player in the NBA. And this year, by the end of this year, we'll see if he can surmount to a superstar.
Yeah, no, I like what I'm seeing from this kid, Pritchard, so far. You know, as I previously was saying during our Celtics segment, but yeah, it's definitely too early to tell. And as far as whether he'd become a superstar caliber player like, you know, Kyrie, because I mean, he's a long ways away from that. I think he's certainly, you know, a good role player, is a good piece, you know what I'm saying, to have. He's certainly shown that he's worth already playing big minutes in the rotation and having a pretty significant role on a really good team in an Eastern Conference contender. But you know, we still, like you kind of said, that we still need to see more body of work from him, and you know, we need him to continue to do this for multiple seasons before we can even, you know, put him in the same you know, category and in the same sentence as, you know, Kyrie Irving. You know, he certainly, you know, he still isn't even as good as Jason Tatum right now at the moment. So you know, he certainly has some really good things going for him, and that he's been able to do well. You know, so far, you know, he just has to, you know, continue to do that and continue to, you know, and improve as a player as the season goes along. But I certainly even think he could possibly even be a candidate for Rookie of the Year. I know LaMelo Ball's probably, you know, going to be the top guy for that, and, you know, and the favorite to win that. But I think, you know, he should at least get some consideration and get some votes, you know, for that award, you know, if he continues to play well. But I certainly like what I'm seeing from him so far. But yeah, he's still as miles and miles away from, you know, being a superstar player in this league. But yeah, he certainly has the potential to do it. He just has to, you know, continue to play well and be effective when he's on the floor.
If he gets to play the way if he gets to play more minutes because of the COVID protocol, because, you know, so many guys might not play, I think that's gonna give you more of what he's like, because he's gonna play more minutes. You know what I mean? He's gonna be more in the game. So I would like to see what that looks like when he plays like 25, 30 minutes in one game. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Right,
to
and
answer the
shots
question,
go ahead, John,
yeah, no, that's not happening. All right, like let's just Peyton. I love Peyton Pritchard. I talked about him, the first person to talk about him on this show, and that's just not gonna happen. Okay, you know, we're comparing him, like his comparisons in the NBA are T.J. McConnell and Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet hasn't been an all-star yet, and we've seen he's done some shit already in this league. You know what I mean? Jason Tatum just became an all-star. Kyrie Irving was the Rookie of the Year. All right, he was like the #1 pick out of the draft. Okay,
Yeah.
like Jason Tatum came in and started on a playoff team. You know what I'm saying?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves now.
Like no, it's not happening. Okay, like Peyton Pritchard will be a good point guard in this league. He'll be a good serviceable point guard that makes timely plays. Might even get hot, you know, from a nightly basis. You know what I'm saying? Because he's done it before. But for him to be an all-star in this league, like, can we even think about how many all-stars are in this league right now? And for him to be what? He's gonna go past Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown hasn't been an all-star yet.
Yeah.
So like, he's probably going to be like the fifth option on our team at all times. You know what I'm saying? And even this year, yeah, he's being mentioned as the rookie of the year. But when Kemba comes back, like his minutes are going to go way down. You know, so he's not going to even have a chance to be rookie of the year. You know, I think he's going to be he's a point guard of the future for the Celtics. Yeah, I think he's one of them. But an all-star, that's not happening. You know, like this guy has to go off for him to be make an all-star team. He has to get the votes.
He has to be a starter on a team for him to even,
to be an all-star.
That's not happening yet.
I was afraid John was gonna go, yeah, man. I was actually
his guy. Huh?
I was actually like, yo, that's John's guy.
No.
I was like, John might be blinded by what he's saying.
Well, I know a basketball player when I see him, but I'm not stupid. I'm like, I know this guy can play. You know, I know he can help us, but he ain't gonna, take over games and start winning games on his own anytime soon. You know, if ever.
Yeah.
All right. Like, think about how many, no offense to anybody, how many small white point guards in this league have made it to the All-Star. It's like John Stockton. Who else?
Jason Williams?
Bob Williams. Bob Cousy.
Steve Nash.
And come on, man. And the offense was like made for Steve Nash over there with Mike D'Antoni. You know what I'm saying? The guy ran everything. That's just never going to happen. Would I love to see it? I'd love to see it for sure. But realistically, that's not going to happen, man. But thank you for sending in a question for the first time, Galette Paul. We appreciate
thank you, Joe Paul. Appreciate it, man. He's a big fan of the show, so appreciate the support, man.
Thanks for the question. Thanks for listening.
Right, and we got your shirt, man. We got your shirt.
Yeah, we're going to get that to you soon, bro.
Yes, sir. Eddie Rodriguez, he's finally back on the show.
Yes, Eddie is back.
Maybe Eddie was a little nervous about the Steelers losing those games at the end of the year because he hasn't sent a question in for a couple weeks now. But I appreciate he's back.
It's been about a month. It's been a while. A couple weeks.
What happened, Eddie?
At least a month.
What happened, Eddie?
You know what? Eddie, thank you for the question.
Eddie's question.
I guess he must have been shook with the way them Steelers have been looking lately.
Yeah, for sure, man.
He must have been real nervous.
Eddie Rodriguez from Philadelphia, PA. So his question is, do the Steelers have a chance to make it to the divisional round? And do you think with Spillane and Phillier back, we can go further? I don't even know who these guys are.
They're backup players. They're the backup linebackers.
Oh, damn.
I think to answer the question, Eddie, thank you for the question again. But I think to answer your question, I do think the Steelers have a chance to make it to the divisional round. They did lose that.
What's the divisional round? Like the
next round.
The next round.
No, the next round.
Oh, the next round.
One. Yeah,
okay.
The one before the championship round.
Okay, cool.
I do think they have a chance, like we predicted. We did the prediction earlier on the show. I do think that the Browns, with their coach not being there and them missing a couple of players, I think it's going to be hard for them. I do think they have a chance to beat the Steelers. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well. But I think the Steelers' playoff experience, is going to prevail, and they're going to make it to the divisional round. But that's it. That's all you're going to go. You're not going to go further than that.
Yeah, I'm with Vlad on this one. I certainly think, there's no reason why the Steelers should lose this game. There's no excuse. And, as far as why, they should, shouldn't win this game tonight against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday night. They have pretty much everything at their advantage and everything going for them. It's definitely a game that they should be able to win, particularly at home. So yeah, they absolutely should make it to the divisional round. But as far as going further than that, I don't think it's gonna happen. But stranger things have happened in the playoffs. And, you know, as they say, any given Sunday, anything, you know, can happen in the playoffs and on that field. But I don't think they're going to make a deep, you know, playoff run. I think if they were playing anybody else but the Cleveland Browns, they're lucky they even playing the Cleveland Browns. Had they been playing another opponent, they'd be one and done. They wouldn't even win tonight. That's the only reason why they're winning this game tonight is because they're playing the Cleveland Browns. That's pretty much it.
I agree with you, Barry. I think any of the other playoff teams in the AFC, the Titans, the Ravens, Buffalo, I think they would have beaten the Colts. That's it. Just the Colts and the Browns.
Right. I think even the Colts would have, you know, could have beaten them, you know, possibly since they just played them a few weeks ago and they just barely beat the Colts, and the Colts were up big in that game. You know, I think, you know, that's really where I'm at with that game. As far as those two guys, I mean, who the hell knows what from them? They're damn like third and fourth string players. I know they've been banged up at linebacker all season long. You know, with, you know, Devin Bush, you know, being injured for the season earlier this year. Bud Dupree was another really big, you know, part of their defense and linebacking core. He is out for the rest of the season as well. So I know TJ Watt's been playing exceptionally well. You know, but as far as those guys, like, you know what I'm saying, I don't even know who they are really and what they bring to the table. So I don't really think they're even gonna have any impact on how far the Steelers go, just because, I mean, how often do like backups, you know, have impact as, you know, a team making a deep playoff run? But, you know, not too many times that happens. So yeah, I don't think we're really gonna see too much from those guys, even though I'm sure they'll probably play more just because of the injuries. But yeah, I'm not really expecting too much from either one, you know, in this game against the Browns and in the playoffs at all.
John, I'm gonna let you go, but I just want to say, Eddie think we have some sort of production team in the background, in the back, doing research for us. We don't have no production team, bro. There's no way. I know you think we should know these players, but we don't. You know what I mean? But
right, we're not Steelers fans, we're Patriot fans.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if we were a bigger podcast and we had a production team, our intern will be doing that research for us.
We'll get there.
But right now we don't, man. We just don't.
Yeah. Eddie, man, thank you for sending in the question, bro. You know, I'm not even gonna answer it because my guys already told you everything that you need to know. What I am gonna say is, like, I advise you to keep it real with yourself, just like we kept it real with ourselves about the Patriots season all year, okay? Like, we knew exactly what was happening, and we were not sugarcoating shit and, you know, giving ourselves a sense of false hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vlad did predict that we would win every last game. But
he did, right? Vlad really thought there was a path to the playoffs.
Right. But we always did keep things, you know, realistically, and we always critiqued the game how it was supposed to be critiqued. You know what I'm saying? We told you all year, you've been sending us these questions that the Steelers are front runners. They haven't been winning against good teams all year. All their wins came against, like, not really great teams, and even the wins that they got, you know, it wasn't like a crazy convincing win anyway, you know. So just keep it real. You know, teams go on hot streaks all the time. That's great. I don't know if that's in the Steelers playoffs because they backed into the playoffs this year. They didn't move forward into it. They were losing games going into this. You know what I'm saying? So for them to start winning and, like, you know, they're not going to – I can't even say that. I was going to say they're not going to go to the Super Bowl, but I'm not even going to say that, you know. But I don't think they move past this next round that's coming up, you know, because every team is built to beat them right now. It's just not realistic for them. Like, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't look like himself at all. Like, if you look at it, he He doesn't look like himself, man, at all. You know, as far as like him throwing the ball, pushing the ball downfield, he can't do that right now. And I'm like Barry was saying, man, and Vlad, we don't have a production team. So Spillier and, you know, Spillane, Fury, like, we don't know these dudes.
Exactly.
You know,
For
and,
real.
you know, it's where the fans of the pros go, not ESPN. You know what I'm saying? So,
Not yet, ESPN. We
not
will be
yet.
one day, though.
We're
will
coming
get
up.
there for sure, slowly but surely.
We're coming up, man. So,
Right.
no, again, man, thank you so much for, you know,
Thank
continual
you, Eddie,
support.
and Joe Paul. Appreciate you guys.
For real, sending us these
Keep
questions all the
supporting.
time. You know what I mean? We appreciate it. And we're going to go into the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week for, you know, to close out the show.
Yes. So I actually have a pretty cool and, you know, special and kind of touching story to, you know, to share with you guys for this B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. And speaking of the, you know, Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers, it's actually is related to that. So the person for the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is actually going to be Baker Mayfield. So what had happened, you know, this past week was that a lifelong Browns fan and Tom Seapel, who's actually in a hospice care, unfortunately.
Hospice?
Yeah, hospice. Thank you.
So
John.
does that mean he's dying?
Yeah, pretty much he's, you know, close to his time, you know, running out and dying, unfortunately, since he has kidney cancer. So he pretty much had posted on Reddit, just kind of thanking all of, you know, the Browns fans and, you know, for their support through his tough time, and you know, and thanking them for being such great fans, and that he, you know what I'm saying, really appreciates, you know, being part of the Cleveland Browns fan base. So was cool was that they were actually able to, you know, get in contact with Baker Mayfield's wife. So this podcast that you know, the Browns, a group of Browns fans do, called the Dogs of War podcast, had emailed Baker Mayfield's wife about this person who, you know, was dying and, you know, was a big Browns fan. So she then had, you know, showed Baker Mayfield that email that she received, and they were actually able to get him tickets to their game that they just played last week against the, you know, the Steelers, in which they ended up clinching a playoff spot. So they, you know, he was able to actually attend that game and see that game in person, and he hadn't really seen a game in a while due to his condition. So, and Baker Mayfield had even posted a, you know, message on Instagram, an inspirational message, just thanking him for his support and you know, for, you know, always supporting the team, and, you know, throughout, you know, his time being a fan and throughout the condition he's been to. So what was pretty cool is that not only did they get him tickets, but she offered him, Baker Mayfield's wife offered him 10 seats in her personal suite for that game. So I thought that, and they were actually able, to even raise a GoFundMe, which raised over $24,000. You know, that was spent on, you know, the tickets for the game, and he actually, after the game, after watching the game, he actually got to not only meet the guys from the podcast that helped him get to the game, but also got to meet Baker Mayfield's wife and Baker Mayfield as well in the locker room. So that was pretty cool of them to, you know, be able to, you know, do that for him, to get a chance to meet, you know, Baker Mayfield and his wife after the game. And then instead of waiting for an Uber to, get back to the hospice, Baker Mayfield and his wife actually drove him back, home back to where he was staying at after the game, so he didn't have to wait for an Uber as well. So I just thought that was a pretty inspirational and touching and very generous and genuine thing, by Baker Mayfield and his wife and the Cleveland Browns fans to do. So I just wanted to recognize them for that, and and show that they are really good people, that really do good, positive things, that are professional athletes and NFL athletes. So I gained a lot of respect for Baker Mayfield and his wife and the Cleveland Browns fans that were able to help this person, attend the game in his last days of his life. So, that was definitely great. And, and it really touched me when I read that story. So congratulations to Baker Mayfield and his wife, on being Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and shout out to the Dogs of War Browns podcast. And that's definitely that Be Money Lifestyle. So thank you, guys, for letting me share that story.
Thank you, Barry.
That was a good one,
problem.
man. That was a good one. And that's going to be
John.
it for us for this week, for episode 42. We'll catch you on episode 44 next week. And that's it for the Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go. If you're still watching, thank you so much for continual support. Subscribe to the channel, please. Tell your friends about it. Share the links, share the videos, watch them, do whatever while you're cleaning. Comment on them, whatever. We'll catch you on the next episode. All right. Have a good week. Peace.
Peace out, guys. Have a good week. See you next week.